Hello, my name is Hans, and I'm going to make a smaller presentation about Zordix. I did one in March, I think, and that was in Swedish. I will put a link down under so you can watch that. So I won't speak so much about what Zordix does and the companies and so on. This presentation is more a smaller one due to the recent report and what I've heard and so on from Gamescom, and why I think Zordix is a great company and something you should consider invest in. So yeah, of course, a disclaimer is always do your own due diligence, and yeah, let's go. So Zordix is an international fast-growing gaming group. They are listed in Sweden in First North, and the last 2 years has been hectic. They made several transformative acquisitions, and now they own the whole value chain. For example, developing games, publishing, and distribution. So what makes Zordix interesting? The last video I made was over 1 hour, so I think I will make a smaller one. So yeah, it makes it easier for you to choose if it's interesting or not. So like I said, they own the whole value chain, and I think it's really good. When you talk about marketing spend, when you launching a game, you want to have everything. You want to have the ownership of the IP or being a publisher, and you want to distribute it both digital and physical, and that is what Zordix is all about. They have an quite active M&A strategy, but not so much this year. This year has been like a transformative year where they have incorporated the last transformative acquisitions. I will talk a little bit about them, but not much. And further on, they will focus more on IP acquisitions. So yeah, to lower the risk. They have a centralized model now. They have incorporated the 5 studios, so they are under one umbrella, and I think that's really clever. And yeah, we will see if it's being a success or not. Compared to Embracer, who has the decentralized model where Lars acquires companies and then they say, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Of course, they are managing them, but difference from Zordix is that Christine, who is the CEO, she wants everyone to deliver and make it effective and make it together. That's how she grew her business with Maximum Games, who was the last acquisition Zordix made. Zordix has a huge pipeline. So it has been really, really crazy pipeline the last year. So I will show you some of them, and they have 11 new own IPs in development. And as they said before, they want to be a big player in the AA space, AA games, not the AAA games. They see a big opportunity here to make good or decent amount of money. If you look at the valuation, Pareto, one who looks or analyzes Zordix, they have EV/OP EBIT at almost 3 for 2023, and I think that's really attractive. Come on. So organization, the enterprise value today is 680 million SEK at 16 SEK. And if you look here at the company's timeline, if you look at 2021, they made 3 transformative acquisitions. The French distribution company Just for Games, the British Merge Games, who is both developer, publisher, and distributor, and American Maximum Games. Maximum Games has both, the same as Merge Games. So today they have 5 big studios who develop games. They're called Zordix Racing, who are develop a project called Thunder. They have Dimfrost Studio, who develops a Nordic folklore game, Bramble the Mountain King. And then we have Invictus Games, who also are developing Project Thunder and also Maximum Football, American football game owned by Maximum Games. Maximum Games owns the studio Modo Studio, who recently announced a game called God of Rock. And the recent smaller acquisition, Main 6, has an IP called Them's Fighting Herds, who are releasing their game, on consoles this fall in October. And they also have this publisher and distribution part. 2021, they made almost 1,250 million SEK in revenue and 150 million in EBITDA. They have a crazy organic growth last year, which is due to mostly the COVID-19 effect, but also a strong back catalog and good new releases. So if you look at pipeline I talked about before, they have over 35 projects coming over the next few years. And I think I have highlighted some of them. Them's Fighting Herds. We have, for example, Solstice, who is releasing in 3 weeks, September 30, 20. It's a hack and slash game. And we also have Maximum Football, which is an American football game, which Zordix owns the IP. They owns the IP of Them Fighting Herds. They owns the IP of Småland, who is an open world survival game with 250,000 wishlist on Steam right now. Zordix owns Bramble the Mountain King, which is a really good. I tried playtest last week, and I really liked it. It's a Nordic folklore game, horror and gore, really good. And then they also announced on Gamescom a game called God of Rock. It's a mix between Guitar Hero and Street Fighter. Really cool. Hope it turns out good. If you look at the pipeline, there are other really good games that I have high hopes on. For example, After Image. They are developed by Aragon Shanghai, who made the Guyan series in China, and that series has sold like 5-10 million copies. Tesla God has sold over 2 million. And then under the unannounced titles, there are some really cool projects that I've tried. But they are on the NDA in the different playtest channels. But overall, the pipeline has growth over the years, and we can see that the products are bigger and better than before. So apart from the digital and the IPs they own and the digital games in the pipeline, they also have this distribution and transmedia. So a big portion of the revenue comes from physical distribution, both from Merge, Just for Games, and Maximum Games. Maximum Games is huge in US, Merge Game is big in Europe, and Just for Games are really big in France. Just for Games has taken the small steps to become a greater part of Europe. Merge Games, all of these ones have, apart from the distribution, they're also something called transmedia. It's something to have enhance the IP. So not so maybe you want to buy a physical copy, but you also want some extra stuff in it. So Merge Games has the signature edition. Just for Games has vinyls, which is growing rapidly, and Maximum Games has also transmedia. So if you look at the picture here with Five Nights at Freddy's, this is one big opportunity for great revenue growth. So a game for $150. And this is a really strong IP, which Zordix doesn't own, but they are getting more and more of these deals, which lower the risk of the company. It gets cash flow, and yeah, it could be transmedia is growing again. So yeah, if you look at the valuation, I talked in the first picture that Zordix has like EV/OP/EBIT at 3. If they make 235 million SEK in EBIT, OP/EBIT next year, and that's not so hard, I think, because they have many games releasing next year, and this year is more like a transformative year. So in the first half year, Zordix grew 4%, and the market reacts like, oh my god, that was not good, sell. But I think that's really stupid, because one, Zordix grew 48% last year. That's insane. So still growing in the first half year, and with no COVID effect and with no major releases, that's stupid, and to think that's not strong. And now Solstice, for example, is releasing in Q3. In Q4, it's a lot of releases and some big releases in next year. So I think now you have the opportunity to think about the future. Christina, who is the CEO, she wants to build the long term. She doesn't want to be like in it for the short term. So if you look at the risk of Zordix, you can check this revenue split per game, and there you see that it's not one game who makes this, it's the overall. So Christina wants to build this company where everyone works together and build a strong portfolio with strong growth, and not with some huge risks. She doesn't want to take like a game and develop it for 500 million SEK and then fuck, I made a mistake. It's better to invest in low risk games and low risk parts of the gaming industry, for example, distribution and publishing and so on, and grow the business and put that money in their own IPs. So this was just a shorter presentation. I were in Gamescom, and yeah, overall that one, if you compare that to 2019, there were a lot more bigger AAA games. So I think it's a lot of opportunity now to invest in AA games, and I hope Sordic delivers that. So if you have any questions, just shout it out. See ya.